Okay, it's been a couple of days since I've last seen you guys in the segments. I went out here, I did some checking of things. I checked my valve lash. It's still at 3,000 self-intake and exhaust as it's supposed to be. It's great. I did a little tweaking to my electrical wiring. It turns out it wasn't completely grounded, which is why I didn't have my electronic start. And my tachometer is working a lot better now. This is gonna get changed out, by the way, now, since obviously we don't max out at $4,000. But to turn that on, it's a little cold. I might have to tune the carburetor some more, but come on, girl. Let me put the camera down. There we go. Yeah, I might have to do some tuning on the carburetor or something for starting up and whatnot. Still kind of starting without choke. Well, I started with the choke, but then I'm getting used to not starting with the choke, but it sounds great, honestly. Valves are just ticking like normal. Oh, it's a normal valve tick, I should say, better. I hear my crank end play perfectly, and it's reading a good theoretical $1,000 RPM, but that could be wrong for all I know. I need to replace that with my newer tachometer that I've got, but everything sounds happy. The only thing I haven't checked yet was how my coils are doing underneath that flywheel. But by the sounds of the starter not dying and the battery being freshly charged, granted, I'm willing to say that the coils are doing great. So let me grab my battery. Let's do some quick testing. Well, I had to do a little bit of quick wiring fixing. My ground disconnected. I just grounded it to the engine, or to an engine bolt. Get this plugged on there somehow. Right down there we got 12.6 or so volts. And if I give it a throttle, it's rattling around because I can't get my probes to stay. Basically it's working. I don't have many hands. So this means also, I wanted to masochistically disconnect the battery. Tach still runs. Give it a blip of the lights. They flicker just a tiny bit, but they're pretty good. Drops down to $5,000. If I give it have lights. And a pretty great charging system comes from those two coils. And a motor that actually sounds pretty healthy. Crank in place going. That ticking noise at the beginning is mostly dissipated. Pretty confident now it was just a rattle somewhere on the frame where it shouldn't, because it's kind of working itself out in a way. I'll need to figure out a way to identify it later on or something. But I mean, she sounds healthy. She's not leaking any oil. She's not leaking any fuel. There's no smoke. I think we got ourselves a win and we're ready to see how this thing really riots. That makes me really happy. So I might have to figure out how to do some carburetor tuning or something like that, and just you know, learn about these round side carbs. But it takes a little bit to start. You know, I probably shouldn't say that. Just if I crank it right and just give it just a little bit of throttle, she'll open up. So I might have to adjust a certain screw to help give it some more fuel on idle startup. I might have to richen up the idle mixture. I don't know. I might have to move the needle up just a little bit. Who knows? But I mean, that's all I'm really asking about in an engine now for this Drift Trike. It's really funny now. I mean, you can skip ahead to this time step now. I just wanted to, you know, nerd out for a second. I never really thought I would have seen myself actually have an overkill engine like this. I mean, blessed to be where blessed be when it comes to that TILLOTSON motor there, or a Predator motor, I should say. And I mean, it served me pretty well, and now it's a good backup in case this one blows up, which I don't want to have happen, because that was a lot of time and money and commitment to get this thing happening. But, you know, we have that for another project, or we have that on backup in case something decides to happen to this. But hopefully that's not the case. we're here to have fun. And again, I think at first it's going to be overkill, but I think it's going to be worth my time. Now, as far as the powertrain goes, I was going to try to rob the CVT from the dingo over there because I have another project for that dingo hiding around the corner back there. And I was going to use that juggernaut pulley. But I don't know. I'm not sure whether or not if I'm going to have trouble with mounting the backing plate forwards and end up hitting my starter here. It was an asked question on my electronic start video, which you can go watch that and learn how to install electronic start on, say, a Predator 212 that doesn't have it normally. Anyway, the backing plate, I don't know if it's going to have any issues hitting this and me be able to run a small chain running this way and yada, yada, blah, blah. But I guess we'll kind of find out one way or another. Darn it. I had a fear that this was going to be the case, so it kind of is what it is. I went ahead and off camera, I mounted the torque converter off the dingo behind me here just to see if this would fit. And I had a hunch it wasn't going to work. I have a lot of interference issues. If I try to clock this up further, I hit the gas tank and I'm still hitting the starter. If I try to put it where it optimally should be, I'm still hitting the starter. And my regulator rectifier is in the way. And obviously I can't face it the other way because the chain's going to interfere, and I don't want to be doing any spacing with washers or try to ruin the structural integrity of these ribs by grabbing them down, or have this up in the air and relocate the gas tank. Screw that. So unfortunately we will not be running a CVT on this. I might be able to look into another potential candidate for a CVT mount, but I don't think it's going to work. So I think we're going to have to go back to the traditional clutch method. I just wanted to see it for giggles and crap, see if it was going to be worth entertaining my time. But I've got to do some thinking also, because my throttle cable here is too... The length is perfect, but my throw is too long to go into my throttle housing here. I might have a couple ideas of just using see if I can harness an automotive nut to go into that little holder that's sitting right there, essentially, or 3D print something like a similar barrel nut that you see here, but with some threads in it, so I can set that in there, cut wherever I need this to length, set it in there, pinch it with a set screw and pray that doesn't break that way, or just find another cable. But I have limited options, honestly. So yeah, there's that. Public service announcement. We got throttle. You know, it's still kind of crazy too. I really have to give it, well, I guess granted there's not a drivetrain hooked up right now, but I really have to give it any throttle. Oh man, the scene feels pretty violent behind me too, it's scary. I made a monster. Alright. I better shut that off before the neighbors get pissed at me. Well, I think the next order of business now would be to probably give this gauge cluster a refresh, because obviously we're not going to be turning more than, we're going to be turning potentially more than $4,000 here, if this is even correct. And our speedometer, I'd like to get a GPS style speedometer and see if I can get a hour meter or something special in that, so I can locate the hours or even the mileage on it instead of in kilometers like this thing is. This is gonna get pretty rowdy. Get a voltmeter, maybe a temp sensor. I'm not sure just yet, but yeah, she sounds mean. And for those that are curious on how I was able to make it happen, I talked about using an automotive nut here. Basically something I can pinch and hold the cable. Camera can't focus in on it. Okay, there we go. I ground the piss out of it just so I can make it fit into my little module inside here. But even after I got it to fit and the head of the bolt, I had to trim down the bolt here as well, but that still wasn't enough to get a good buy on it. So instead, I found this smaller version that almost looks like a barrel nut. I had to drill out the hole, this hole size here, for the set screw to fit in there. And these little set screws, they're tiny little things, as my finger can tell for scale, and they got a nice point to them that give a better conical bite on the cable. And I had to do a little bit of fine tuning on the location, so I have return throttle and I have full throttle, and yeah, it seems to work pretty well. No tensioner needed. The ideal way, honestly, would be to potentially build my own cable in here, rebuild it to the length that I need, get a solder bowl, and you know, just do a similar method, and maybe have an adjuster out here in the event I need to remove some tension. But I think I've got it dialed into where I want for now, and it's just kind of a plug and play situation here. I'm learning. I got to be careful on how I route the cable so there's no accidental pull, and there isn't any pull when I turn the handlebars away from me too. It's real. When I was trying to get it set up, it was really sensitive. Just one little wiggle and that thing's already starting to go brrr. So all that fun jazz. But either way, I got it figured out and we're one step closer. So later on this week, I'll be getting a new racing torque clutch just for giggles and craps. The clutch that's on the old Predator here probably would work, but I don't know the research enough to see if you'd be able to handle all that horsepower from this machine here. So we'll get a fresh clutch. And I got some chain links coming my way too, because I looked at my master link and it looks a little tatered, and this is a special RLV Extreme chain that's just pre-stretched, and I think the only other master link I have won't suffice, or if I did use them before, they're ripping like piss ants. So yeah, that gopowersports order is coming later this Thursday. We'll have that back up and running, and we'll have ourselves a runner and see what this thing is capable of. Check that out. Got a new gauge cluster printed. I'm gonna go ahead and work on getting it installed here in the background, and then we'll get our new racing clutch on as well. So we're doing the same elements this time. I've got a 8 grand RPM, a GPS speedometer. I got my voltmeter, the blue push button start, and then a switch for the backlights on the tachometers. Now, I know I had that blue light, the blue push button for the dingo, but you know, the whole thing's blue, it matches, and if anything, I can buy another one or just take the red one from this one and put it on the dingo, no sweat. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and work on getting this unbolted, unmounted, and uncoupled, and I'll see you here in a short bit. Heckin' engineers, man. Why'd they have to put so many screws on a speedometer, make it complicated? Oh, wait a minute. Anyway, this should just pop right off now. So yeah, one of the things that I was going to be doing differently is getting away from all these hot wires running from the main key switch here. Inside that box is a fuse panel. You might be able to see part of it just kind of sitting in there essentially, but essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my main power go into the key switch like last time, and the export of that go into the main power of the fuse block, so then I can have 6 little fused posts go to every single component on that cluster right there. I've got 6 spots and I have 6 different components, and it should be a lot cleaner than this caboodle here. All right, well, all the wires are out of there now, but the really unfortunate part is the really unfortunate part is now is the wires ripped out of whatever connection I had in the access hole in there. So that means there's wires stuck in my chassis that are not being used, but I need to find a way to pull out and get out now, and then re-fish it through or something, because that really sucks, man. That's all I'm gonna say. So I'm gonna have to take some time off camera to find it, pull it out, and pray to God I can snake it back through. No! Went right back in there, darn it. Got you, you Scott son of a bitch. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm not happy I had to make that hole, but that piece breaking up was pretty much, hopefully, one of the only reasons why it was caused me to not feed through the wire that I need to, because all the wires are still here. It looks like they went on the top side on the neck here, interestingly enough. All right, well, a little bit of a check-in here. Basically all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to suck the strain through like I did the first go around, but it kept bunching up on me and causing problems, and I had to walk away. I'm starting to not feel well, hopefully not getting sick, and just try to get that wire through, but I'm gonna keep at it for a little bit, see what happens now. I got it, finally. Now I can resume what I was doing earlier. So one of the things I've learned to do differently is, rather than have the riv nuts on the 3D print, even though this seemed to work pretty good, is to put it on the sheet metal instead. I'm also downsizing to 1/4 bolts instead of 5/16 bolts, so it's all kind of uniform and unitized. I am gonna have to chop down or trim down my ground nut here because of the new fuse box that's in the new cluster. We'll get a height reference on that and then stick it on there and call it good. That is a rat's nest of wires, if I ever say so myself, but the majority of it is almost there. I just gotta add my ring terminals for my signal, my tachometer, my speedometer, and then get a new input for my power, my push button start, and then hook this up to the main positive of the fuse box. But give it a little flips around, Z's. Looking good. Okay, well, a week has passed. I apparently got sick, had to recover, take care of the work week, and here we are again. I'm at a point where I have everything wired up inside the box. The box is enclosed. It's a little stuffed in there right now because of all the wires. Might have to 3D print a spacer because I'm concerned about closing this and crunching something. That's obviously no problem. But before I turned the camera on, I did a quick little check just to see if anything would happen. Sorry to not give you guys the live reaction. But it is safe to say at the second, up to this point, everything is working. So I have the battery hooked up. I have the carburetor fuel line open and the choke set. And check this out. When I turn the key, I got my voltage. The gauges do their little dance. And look, I got my little voltage right there. And then I can turn this switch on for my blue lights and my tail lights. And then I can flick it down, and then I have that, and then I have that. And I can see my voltmeter right there, so that's working great. And if I flick this switch, I have gauge lights. The only thing I haven't pressed and checked was this button. So let's see what happens. Oh shit. Come on, baby. All right. All right, let me put you on a tripod just to see if I can get this thing to fire. There you go. Okay, well, digging around and maybe tap into something else and see if I can get a signal out of that, because that's interesting that that's not working. Well, dang it. Not sure what to say about this. I did a little bit more fiddling around, tried putting my signal back into the charge coils, but that didn't make a difference. I ended up taking my charge coil signal from where this is supposed to plug into the tach and plug a multimeter, and sure enough, I'm getting voltage to here, but it's not enough to send a signal into that. And I tried changing the programming on it, but I can't get anything out of that, which kind of stinks. So I'm gonna have to get a different tach or something. But everything works at least, though. Glad to have the wiring back. Yeah, it's a bummer. Well, as you guys saw there just a second ago, basically I bought a different tachometer, and it works, but the signal just seems very laggy. Not really real time compared to the diesel tach that I had on here. Tested it out first before I installed it. There's one more over there I could try. I feel like it's going to produce the same results, if not worse. Actually, I'll spare you the fast forwarding segment. I went ahead and actually tested this one, and it behaved the exact same as that one there. Like, I can literally see these guys in sync, idling and lagging back and forth. So this one's going back. I'll keep that one for now. Maybe I can find another tach that doesn't share the same Chinese manufacturing and wiring. Yeah, we'll see. If anything, I'm happy it at least works and I got some sort of signal. I might have to fine tune the frequency, because the 8 grand or so may not be accurate or something like that. I have to get maybe like some sort of reader just to read the actual RPM coming out of the crank and then compare that to what I have here. But if anything, it's almost more than enough to make some progress on this thing finally. Bit of a headache, honestly, but that's what you get for buying cheap off Amazon. But I think the other part of it is, honestly, it's just the fact that it probably wasn't meant for a single cylinder engine. These are really designed just to go on cars and their distributors or their coil packs, basically on a certain post of the part itself to actually get a proper signal. So it's trying to average off of one cylinder and not really yielding the best results very quickly. So we might have to do some adjustment on it. I don't know. It works. I got my lights set on blue, so when I flick the switch I can turn them off and on, and then that's them off. Well, I gave it my all. I'm just gonna live with it for now. I'm tired of messing with it, and it is close to accurate. It's just slow and laggy or whatnot. It's not like I'm gonna be watching the RPMs all the time. What I'm more gonna be concerned about, funny enough, is the speedometer working and all that fun jazz. So let's just say, let's go ahead and get all this all cleaned up and reset, because essentially we need to actually see how this thing behaves now with this new TILLOTSON motor, and I need that guard right there and my new clutch on and the chain and sprocket realigned, GPS speedometer mounted, all that fun stuff. So I'll catch you guys in a bit. All right, everything's all buttoned up. GPS speedometer has been mounted. It's a nice sunny evening outside. I say we go for a quick little cruise to see how this thing handles. I'll get you set up on the GoPro over there, and we'll get to it. Just in case. All right, man, let's see what the hell happens. Speedometer's working. That's roads are way too bumpy though for my liking and comfortability, man. So let's just go home. Get back in the thing. Back off the clear ground. And I stalled out. Oh no. Oh. Oh. Well, this is awkward. Ugh. What's that? Well, it's a home brewed project, actually. This is my homemade motorized drift trike, and I'm... Thank you. It appears the battery doesn't want to crank me. Okay, come on, girl. No. Darn it. Ooh. Chain might be tight enough, it's just gonna pull it on. Oh, oh. Roll it, start a little bit, baby. Good enough for me. That is a riot. Alrighty. Well, there's that. All right, and there you have it, folks. I guess it turns out that somebody mechanically inclined, hasn't touched the motor for what, 12 years, can actually put together a motor that actually makes a riot. Now, on that GoPro, man, I was only able to get up to 40, and it probably had a little bit more in it, but that was just the wuss factor kicking in at this point. So it's just one of those things. If we had some good solid ground to just go and dart it, then I would be all for it. So I think I'm going to end this video here, because next up we might have a video shoot opportunity coming up with one of the locals. And yeah, that we'll see how this thing really behaves. But it's good to know where we need to start. The motor's sounding great. The motor's doing fantastic. It runs like a bat out of hell now, like a familiar dingo over here, without a CVT. I went up a tooth with the 13 tooth max torque clutch. Kind of glad I did now, because this thing likes to sing. Odometer seemed to go in and out, but I had 3 miles clocked on. The tach was kind of hit or miss, working and then kind of losing signal, not working, but you know, it works. I probably need to adjust my wiring inside the fuse box behind the cluster here, but I'm going to live with that right now. But yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm more of a speechless and in awe of the raw power that these Tillotson motors have. And we're at endgame now for this trike. We're all happy about it. So thank you guys ever so much for ever watching this video. I'll try to keep you posted on the next big thing coming for this thing, if anything at all. But other than that, if you enjoyed this kind of content, please be sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Be sure to check out the history on this trike. I've got a lot of videos on my channel from start to finish, and a complete transformation of this into the fat tire that it is now, if you guys are interested. But other than that, my name is Kader Nighthawk, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out and God bless.